Neither sound.
Meeting is called to order. The time is 7:02. Public portion of the meeting begins. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the rights of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the business administrator or board secretary has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building, communicated to the Herald News, the Record, and filed with the clerk of the Borough of Hawthorne. Roll call, please.
Mr. Hart?
Here.
Mr. Clavijo?
Here.
Ms. Eritrea?
Here.
Dr. Morrell? Mr. Palouse?
Here.
Mr. Raisher? Mr. Shortway?
Here.
Mr. Tutaro?
Here.
Mrs. Hunt?
Here. Please join me for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Meeting regulations. During each regular meeting, 2 opportunities are provided for citizens to ask questions and to make comments. During the first opportunity early on the agenda, the meeting is open to the public for the purpose of addressing items listed for approval on this agenda only. The second opportunity occurs just prior to adjournment, when citizens may address any subject matter that is pertinent to and or directly related to the operation of the school building district. Persons wishing to speak must, upon being recognized, rise, state their name, address, and subject matter. Comments and questions shall be addressed to the board president or the presiding officer and shall be limited to 5 minutes per person. The board may or may not respond to issues raised by members of the public at the time they are raised, but will provide a response if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Please note that the board will not respond to comments regarding students or board employees in light of the privacy rights held by those individuals. Moreover, the board discourages comments about such individuals and will not be responsible for such comments. Members of the public who choose to speak during the public session should carefully consider their comments, as they could be held personally liable for any comments they make. Finally, please note that in accordance with district policy, the board will not officially comment or respond to any matter mentioned unless it can confirm the matter has first been brought to the attention of the appropriate school personnel in an attempt to resolve this issue. Publicly heard agenda items only. Seeing as we have no members of the public present, curriculum and instruction, slight snag, Mr. Reicher is not here, nor is Dr. Morrell, who is the other member of the CNI committee. Mr. Clavijo is off. Are you okay with me?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Madam President. Curriculum and instruction, action items pursuant to the recommendation of the superintendent of schools. The Committee on Curriculum and Instruction recommends the following resolutions. CI1 on page 3, CI2 on page 4, CI3, CI4. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Clavijo, seconded by Mr. Carr.
Yes.
Any discussion? I would just like to let the board know that we have spoken with the attorney, and that's why we have multiple vendors for the paras on here. The pool dries up rather quickly with one, so it's good to have several that you can choose from. The onboarding process varies with each company, so it may just be a bit of a juggling act. I apologize to Ms. Ambrose, who probably has to do the juggling, but in Pequannock, as I mentioned, we do use multiple companies as well. This is a pretty standard practice. As far as CI4, that is the Start Strong resolution, simply asking that the state consider, the Department of Ed consider making it optional. The reality is that this probably has little to no actual gravity with the Department of Ed. It is more of a statement of solidarity to our faculty, staff, and students, acknowledging that we understand that this will take away precious learning time from them. I did discuss with Mr. Sprito what we would do with it once, if it did pass. It is done in the past where they have sent just abstracts of resolutions to the Department of Ed, and that seems like what we will do. We will send it to the Department of Education if it does pass at that point. With that being said, is there any discussion now?
Yes, just an inquiry. Is there a reason why it has to be done in the form of resolution versus a letter? Is there one that provides a more stern response on behalf of the board.
You can speak.
I'll say this, that I think it's 6 of one, half dozen of another. I don't think it matters. I can tell you that the only letter that I'm aware of that was sent, and I'm sure there were others, but there was a letter that was shared with us that was sent from numerous associations, the Principals and Supervisors Association, the Superintendent's Association, I think it was the school board, the School Business Administrator Association, or multiple groups that came together to draft a letter and send it to the Department of Education. You know, again, how much impact a letter versus a resolution, a board resolution has, I'm not sure either one. One has more impact than another. It's just preference, I think. People choose to.
I guess that's where that's my only personal concern on, even though I agree with the context and whether or not that matters or not, is I guess my inquiry.
This is more visible to the public. It becomes an integral part of this document, which is viewable by the public.
Mhm.
People do view the agendas, whether they come to the meetings or not, in the minutes. It would sort of concretize that way. A letter doesn't have the same visibility. I'm not even sure how would we get it out to the public? They wouldn't know, is my point.
Just memorialize, this puts it on the public record. Can you do both?
Okay. Okay.
And again, we're not saying in this resolution that we will absolutely not commit to the testing, but you know, that's not at all what any of us are suggesting. We're not gonna go against the regulation if that's what ends up being the case. It's more of we're asking them to reconsider that it's mandatory and needs to be on such a good timeline.
That'd be only my recommendation, if we could do both, because even though this might be criticized amongst our district, I think we need to bring the point up to the state, right, from the state level.
I can tell you that I spoke to the president of our State County Superintendent's Association if we wanted to draft something from our association to send on behalf of all the school districts. So that's something we're talking about as well. So, I mean, again, what impact any of this will have, who knows? But I don't think it hurts. To your point, I don't think it hurts.
Okay.
Additionally, as this would be the first resolution that we know of at this point, Kathy Hellowa did not have one to offer us, our attorney did not have one to offer us. Doesn't mean there's not one out there, but we didn't have one within reach. This may provide a footprint for others to utilize. You know, if that's what the obstacle holding people back, oh, I don't know how to, you know, Dr. Morrell was kind enough to draft it. So that's another plus in my mind of actually making it a resolution. It provides a template for other districts who do. I view other districts' agendas. I'm a bit of an agenda nerd. Like I go on and look at their minutes, and so you know, people may just come across it. But ultimately, if it's something that you're not comfortable with, obviously, you know, you guys vote how you feel. Okay. I feel without saying all the time, but I just like I had to say. Any other discussion?
Thank you, Abby, for explaining that. And of course, Dr. Morrell's not here, but thankful to her for really putting this together and kind of jump-starting it for all of us.
Absolutely. And she's in a position in her actual job where she feels it immensely. And that's sort of the solidarity, you know, we back up those people in this district and say, you know, we support you in that.
Great.
Awesome.
Okay, no other comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Clavijo?
Yes.
Ms. Erentraut?
Yes.
Mr. Kalous?
Yes.
Mr. Shortman?
Yes.
Mr. Tutaro?
Yes.
Mrs. Conley?
Yes. Seeing as there's no public, again, is there anything else, Mr. Shortman? Okay, motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motioned by Mr. Tutaro, seconded by Mr. Carr. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Clavijo?
Yes.
Ms. Erentraut?
Yes.
Mr. Kalous?
Yes.
Mr. Shortman?
Yes.
Mr. Tutaro?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mrs. Conley?
Yes. Thank you so much, guys.